This is the Helpful Lockpicker here. The video I have for you today is on how to open up your first lock by single pin picking. This video is part of my video series called Lockpicking Homeschool, which will teach you how to open up your first lock and get you up to the intermediate level. What I would like to do is first show you me opening this lock. I'm going to use the bottom of the Keyway tension. This is one of the tensioning tools that is commonly used, and my standard hook. Afterwards, I'm going to go over how pin tumbler locks operate, and then I'll go over the various techniques you can use to open them up by picking. So I'm going to start off with single pin picking. Got to click out a 1, little on 2, nothing on 3, nothing on 4, a little bit on 5, click on 6, click on 4, and that opened us up. So now I'd like to go over how pin tumbler locks work. When you look at this rectangular area, this is called the Bible. What you're seeing here is just a pin that's used to retain the core, and that does not affect the operation of the lock. So we're going to ignore that for now. So we can count 6 springs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 driver pins, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These springs push these driver pins into this area here, and then they will sit recessed. When they're recessed in there, this will not turn. What you see moving is called the plug. Inside of each hole here is a key pin. When you insert the right key, these key pins will lift up to the top and be flush and push these driver pins out of the way. But when you lock the lock up, those driver pins sit recessed in there and you cannot open the lock. When you look at the key, this is a 6-pin key. You can see there's 6 cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Each depth corresponds to a key pin. So this has a lower depth, so the key pin would have to be taller. The depth plus the height of the key pin all equal the shear line, and they will all be at the same height. So depth plus key pin equals shear line. When all the key pins are lifted up to the shear line, it will push these driver pins up and out of the way, and they will no longer be obstructing the lock, and you'll be able to get it open. So when I insert the key, right now it's partially inserted, so you can see that that's not at the right depth because that driver pin's lifted too high, these ones are too low. But when you put the right key in, they're all lifted up and out of the way, and the lock turns over, and then you can see that they are all sitting flush, each key pin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and these were able to push up to the very top, sit flush, and push these up and out of the way. Now, when we pick a lock, we take advantage of manufacturing tolerances. On these driver pins, all these holes are not aligned perfectly, so when we add tension to the lock and we lift up on each key pin, we'll lift and try to find one that's binding. The one that's binding will have some resistance. We'll lift that up, the driver pin will stay up, the key pin will drop down, and now it's out of the way. And we go through one at a time trying to find the next binding pin. Once you get the lock open, you'll know what the binding order is, and you'll know how to open up this lock each time. Each lock has a different binding order. When we apply tension here with my bottom of the Keyway tensioner, and we're going to lift with my standard hook, we're just going to look for each pin that is providing some resistance. The ones that feel springy are not the ones that are binding, because that's just the force of the spring pushing down on the driver pin, and that's not ready to be picked. And then when you do set it, you can usually hear an audible click. So let's see. Got to click on 1. Nothing on 2, little click on 3, nothing on 4, little click on 5, small click on 6. But when you physically look, you can visually see pin 4 is still recessed, and that is the pin that we are stuck on. So you're just going to probe each one. The ones that are set feel very floppy. It's just the weight of gravity holding the key pin up, which is the pin below the driver pins. Now when I get to pin 4, I can feel resistance, and I lift up on it, I get that click, everything is out of the way, and now we're open. Since there's no key here, you can see all the key pins have dropped down. And when you feel a set pin, you can have it turned like this and you can just kind of probe through them. That's what a set pin feels like. They feel nice and floppy and nothing's really holding them down. A pin that's not binding, you'll feel the pressure of the spring, so you can put your pick in and lift up and feel what that springy feeling feels like. And a binding pin's one that feels more resistance than the springy. The next technique we're going to try is called zipping. You can zip with your standard hook. It's a kinetic attack. You're going to do light bottom of the keyway tension. You're going to insert your hook all the way to the back of the lock and rapidly pull it out. That will shoot the driver pins up, and then hopefully they will all clear the shear line, and in that second the lock will open. Usually takes a couple tries, and we'll see what it takes to get it open now. Let's see. Got it open our first go. The next technique is going to be called raking. This is a Bogota styled rake. What you're going to do is go back and forth, but you want to kind of lift up and out as you go. We're going to use our bottom of the keyway tensioner again. We're going to do light bottom of the keyway tension, and we're going to rake it open. And we're open. This technique works on a lot of locks. Many of the locks you can get at department stores. However, with the addition of security pins, raking can tend to be thwarted. Single pin picking is the most reliable method for all pin tumbler locks, but it does take the most skill. The next is rocking. This is a city rake or an L rake, and your technique is rocking up and down. It's not more of an in and out motion. So we're just going to insert the city rake and we're just going to go up and down. It's going to randomly set them. And now we're open. So what we've gone through today was single pin picking, zipping, raking, and rocking. These are techniques that you can be used to get locks open quickly. With anything, practice makes you become a lot better. Single pin picking is the most effective method to get open locks. Once security pins start getting added, better tolerances, very radical keying, it can make less skilled attacks like rocking and raking less effective. I'd like to thank you guys for checking out this video. If you have any comments or suggestions on videos you'd like to see me make, please leave them in the comments below. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe. As always, thank you so much for checking this out, and I hope you have a great day.